Udofia stood on the safe house roof. The city hummed below. He felt it. Lilith's pull was gone. Not absent, waiting. Mary came out an hour later. She put a tablet on the ledge. A blueprint of Lilith's fortress spun on the screen. "Our only move," she said with a serious face. "Lilith thinks you'll come to her. She thinks I'm nothing. So you go. You'll walk right in. You'll give her what she wants." "Which is?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. "The performance. You listen. You let her think she's won." "And you?" he asked. "I'll be the ghost in the walls. No." The word was final. The idea of Mary nearing Lilith, of her being any part of the confrontation, was unacceptable. He turned and walked toward the roof access door. "Udofia, where are you going?" He didn't answer. He took the stairs down and vanished into the city. After the fight with Aegis Base, Udofia took the dark woods. The woods were a cathedral of silence. Udofia moved like a shadow through it. The adrenaline from the burning Aegis Base still humming in his veins, he couldn't wait to see Mary. He stepped onto the cracked asphalt of the service road, and the world stilled. Not with a threat, but with a presence so absolute it choked the sound from the air. Lilith stood 10 paces ahead. She made no grand gesture. She simply looked at him, and in her ancient eyes, his night's work was assessed, and she was satisfied with it. "Udofia," she said. He froze, every muscle wired for fight or flight. "Lilith!" A smile touched her lips. The fire was a suitable announcement. "You're no longer a rumor. You are a fact." She began to walk towards him as if they were companions. "Aegis Base is scrambled now," she said. He said nothing, waiting for the attack. It didn't come. She stopped and drew something from the folds of her dress. A single obsidian black card. She extended it, not as an offering, but as a disposal she was entrusting to him. 888 Shadowcrest Drive, the penthouse. Her eyes held his, a universe of cold promise in their depths. "When you are finished playing house, come and discuss your future." She didn't wait for a reply. She turned and vanished in a blur. Udofia stood alone on the empty road, the card pinched between his fingers. It was cold. It bore no name, no title, just an address. It felt heavier than any weapon. The safe house hummed with sterile light. Mary was worried about Udofia. She can't seem to reach him, and she's worried if he is still alive or not. That's when the door opened, and behold, it was Udofia. Filled with excitement, she rushed to hug him. "I thought I lost you," she said, still hugging him. Then she told him he smells like a roasted goat. "Real funny," he said with a smile. "The Aegis Base is ash," he said, "but that's not the news." He told her about the elders, their offer, not just a cure, a rewind, a return to human physiology, to a heartbeat, to mortality. Mary's hands flew to her mouth. Tears, pure and bright, welled in her eyes. "Udofia, that's everything." Her mind, the brilliant strategist, instantly mapped the future. Mornings, aging, growing old, a life. You have to say yes. There's a price, he said, his voice dropping to a gravelly whisper. The magic that holds the change together is tied to my memory of the change, of her, of you. They can't unravel one without the other. To be human again, I'd have to forget everything since the night she found me. The hope drained from Mary's face, replaced by a stunning, awful stillness. He watched her process it. The genius who valued data above all, now doing the most painful calculation of her life. His humanity versus their love. Her voice was a hollow thing. Do it. He recoiled as if struck. What? Take the deal. She looked at him, her eyes a storm of grief and resolve. You get to live. You get to be the man you were meant to be. If the cost is that I become a stranger, then that's the mission parameter. I'll accept it. You don't get to accept it for me, he snarled, the sound vibrating the air. You don't get to martyr my memory for your guilt. That's not love, Mary. That's a fucking funeral you're planning for me while I'm still standing here. Then why won't you do it? She cried, the pain breaking through. Is it the power? Is it the fear of being weak again? Or is it? Her voice dropped to a shattered whisper. The bond. Are you so tied to her that the idea of being free of her feels like losing a limb? The word hung in the air. Bond. Udofia's expression closed off. He thought to himself, how can someone as smart as this be so blind? He slowly reached into his pocket and showed her the card. Lilith is back, he said, his voice terrifyingly calm. She gave me this on the road, an invitation. He looked from the card to Mary's devastated face. You think this is about the bond? The bond is a chain. This, he pointed at the card, is a spoiled queen who thinks the world is hers to give. And you and I, he gestured between them at the shattered hope in the room. We are the only thing I have that she didn't create, can't control, and will never understand. He stepped closer, his intensity a physical force. You asked me to forget you to save myself. That's the coward's way out. I remember everything, Mary, the good and the terrible. That's what makes me more than her weapon. So never, never use the word bond to me again. My choice isn't about her. It's about being the man who remembers the woman brave enough to love a monster. And if that means I stay a monster to protect that memory, then I'll wear these fangs like a crown. He turned and told her he is going to the rooftop to clear his head. The blueprints and the black card, the two offers, one of forgotten humanity, one of bloody eternity, lying rejected between them. He had chosen the only thing left, love. He walked with no destination. The air was cool. He needed to think. It seems Mary don't really know how much he loved her. She's too stubborn. I don't want her anywhere close to Lilith. He was walking and brainstorming when a black sedan pulled up beside him. The back window slid down. An old man sat inside, his face like stone. Tinubu knew. Simon, the Curator General. "Get in, Udofia," Simon said, his voice like dry pages turning. "We have little time, and you have fewer options. I'm done with your order." Paul was a fool. He saw a monster. I see a weapon. Simon handed him a white card. "Call when you're ready to accept your calling." The window went up. The car drove off. Udofia was happy but didn't show it. Now Mary doesn't have to put herself in danger. I'll work with the elders instead, he thought to himself. Then he looked at the card. A tracker, a leash. He took a photo of it and tore it. He didn't trust the elders. For 20 minutes, he moved through the city in a mad pattern, backtracking, cutting through alleys, over rooftops, to be sure no one followed.
Yo, what up, my people? This episode is proudly sponsored by Radiohead.
The main room was dark. Mary stood in that twilight, facing him like a woman waiting for a soldier who might not come home. "The general found me, Simon," Udofia continued. "They still want Lilith down. They'll be the distraction at the base." Mary's eyes, usually flicking with data, fixed on him, utterly still. "What did you promise them?" "Nothing." He finally stepped forward. "But it means you stay out of it, Mary. You stay here, behind all this steel. You stay safe." She absorbed it, her face a calm lake over a deep, cold trench. "Then you owe me a memory," she said, smiling. Before he could speak, before he could think, her hands came up, framing his face. Her thumbs brushed the high arches of his cheekbones, the places where the vampire's prominence was most pronounced. Her touch was warm. "Look at me," she whispered. He did. He saw the fierce, brilliant, terrifyingly human woman who had chosen him. He saw the love that was not a cage, but a compass. "This is what you're fighting for," she said, her voice low and steady. "Not to be human, not to kill a queen. For this, for the right to be looked at like this. Remember the feel of it." She leaned in and kissed him. It was not a kiss of passion, it was a kiss of transference, a seal. She was pouring the memory of her, the taste of her, the warmth, the softness, the unshakable trust into him, branding it beneath the curse, beneath the magic, into the bedrock of whatever he was. When she broke away, her eyes were bright but dry. "Now you have it, a memory not of what you are, but of why. However deep it has to go to survive, it's in there." He had no words. His own hands came up, covering hers where they still held his face. He bowed his forehead to hers, a silent vow in the dark. She's starting to have sense. Then he was gone. Not in a blur, he took a single sharp step back, turned, and walked out the door like a man. He closed it softly behind him. Mary stood in the empty room. She brought her fingertips to her own lips, holding the ghost of the kiss. On the street below, Udofia turned his face toward the cliffs. He didn't pull out his phone. He didn't send a text. He touched his own cheek where her hand had been, feeling the phantom warmth like a tattoo. He ran, not as a monster fleeing its heart, but as a king carrying his reason into battle.